Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday, January 18th, and we have one meeting to tell you about today, and it'll be the third board meeting, which will immediately follow our morning broadcast of This Day. Now, it is only virtual and televised right here, as I mentioned, and if you would like to follow along virtually, you can go to lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Now, on our show today, we have Jeff Parker here, who is going to give us a Laguna Woods update, and we do have some COVID information that we think will be helpful to you, as well as some other things that are coming up. And then we have the History Center. The History Center is a great place for information about, obviously, where Laguna Woods Village came from. And then we also have some information that they are going to allow you to download a very important book so you can have it for your own. All right, let's take a look at our weather. We are looking at nice skies, actually. Today we are looking at mostly, we have got cloudy skies today, mostly cloudy with a little bit of sunshine, 65-55, and then partly sunny tomorrow, 66-50. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we are looking at beautiful days, 74-52, 70-53, and then a little breezy on Saturday, 75-56. Now, our sunrise this morning was at 6:54, and our sunset will be at 5:09. And thank you, Alan, for taking this beautiful photo of our golf course right here in Laguna Woods Village. So thank you for sending that in. And if you have a photo you would like to share with us, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we come back, we will sit down with Jeff Parker, so stick around.
It's time for year-end savings for year-round adventures during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Come today and receive financing with 0% APR for up to 48 months. And do not make payments for 90 days on select new Hyundai, like Elantras and Santa Cruz 2022. Your new adventures come with peace of mind driving too, with America's best warranty, with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, and the Hyundai Assurance Program.
At Harvard Eye, we're so happy to be open again to see you for all your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence and committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Hearing aids require a lot of attention. Don't underestimate the problems earwax can cause. Come in and see inside your own ear canals to find out how much blockage you have. Debris like earwax can cause up to 45% reduction in amplification. Your hearing aids may be able to be significantly improved to help you hear conversations clearly with a simple office visit. Every day, patients say, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so much better." Stop in or call us today for a complimentary cleaning and ear inspection. Tell them Stuart sent you.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here, and I haven't been able to sit down with you to say Happy New Year. So
Happy New Year to you too. Welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to see you. And since I've been gone, there was an awful lot of things that have been happening with COVID here in the woods as well as across the country. So go ahead and tell us what's happening here.
Kind of unfortunate that we've seen the numbers just continue to spike, and that's throughout the state. And I heard this morning that they'd hit 7 million people with the COVID number, which is a million more than they just in the last 3 weeks. So it shows that the Omicron is spreading really fast.
It is.
Luckily, it's not causing as much damage in a sense that the COVID, the original COVID did, or the
Right.
Delta variant. But as we'll see in some of these numbers now, the Orange County was closed on Monday, so these are numbers from last week. These are Friday numbers, basically. So you see a big number in 8,257. That's one day count, so that's pretty high. But what we're seeing is the big jump in hospitalizations and the ICU numbers. So just 5 days earlier, we were at 964 hospitalizations, and now we're up to 1,154. So it'll be interesting to see today's numbers that come out over the weekend.
Yeah, I had heard that when you look at those hospitalization numbers, also to keep in mind is how quickly people are getting out of the hospital.
In
So I
and
guess
out.
they're in maybe like a day or two, and then they're out. So not sure what the symptoms are that would provide them to go to the hospital.
Yeah, and I think they're worried, that there's the concern, so they're getting tested if they're testing positive, and then they're feeling that way.
Right.
But you're right, it's there's not as much of the critical stages, it seems like, based on what we're hearing. Although we do have 171
Yeah.
cases in ICU, so I don't want to...
Nobody wants to go to the hospital,
you don't want to go
regardless,
if you
right?
don't have to go.
Yeah.
But we are seeing that, and that was up from 140 just a few days earlier.
Right. So
is-
you are seeing an increase of
yeah.
people going in.
And that's happening everywhere, including the Laguna Woods. And in fact, I was in the Orange County Register that we had a big bump up. And it was like 600 a couple weeks ago, and now it's all the way up to 781 cases. So that's a big jump for the Laguna Woods area.
Right.
That's not just the village, but our whole community out here. Thank goodness, the good number, I guess, in the sense of always wanting to watch fatalities has only gone up one in that same time period.
Right.
So again, more people getting it, it's impacting people. So again, wearing the mask, washing hands, doing all the social distancing you can, but this thing is spreading pretty rapidly throughout Orange County and throughout all of the state. So it's serious, and you don't, with the aging village that we have, we want to be real careful. And obviously people who've been vaccinated and have boosters, that helps them,
Correct.
But again, for those that aren't, it's very dangerous, and it's concerning that we see these numbers going up like that.
Yeah, and I think we had talked about this before, is in regards to influenza. Now, of course, we're in the crux of actually influenza season as well. However, we're not hearing about that nearly as much, but it is still there. So they still need to remember to get your influenza shot if you haven't already. But the most important thing is, I think what we've been talking about this entire time is exactly what we are supposed to do. Wash your hands, keep your distance. I mean, we've been doing this forever, right? So it's something you should always remember. So you can't say it enough, right?
And that's important. I mentioned to you earlier, I was out for a couple of days because I had cold, flu type thing. Got tested, was tested negative, so that's good.
Right.
But balancing and understanding that you can get colds still, and that you can face that. So
yeah, and some of the colds that, like you had mentioned, they are laying you up a little heavier than normal.
Because
some
you haven't
people,
had
yes,
it.
because you haven't had it in a while, right?
Right.
So even if you get a flu and you think it's possibly COVID, it might not be. Yet you are still laid up for a while.
it's absolutely true.
Yeah. All right. Well, food for thought on all of it.
Just to stay safe out there.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. What else do you have?
Well, I wanted to mention a couple of meetings, and you mentioned it too, that we're all virtual now because of the amount of the impact on our employees and the residents and everything. All of the meetings have gone virtual. But one of the meetings that got changed because of that is we have a transportation information meeting coming up Friday.
Right.
And this was a meeting that was going to be last Friday, but we wanted to move it so that we're going to be virtual, and it's going to be on TV6.
Yes.
So that's important, and it was originally going to be 11 o'clock. Now it's going to be at 9:30, and that's this coming Friday. So on TV6, everybody should watch and make sure you see this. If you can't get on the virtual, watch it on TV, because it's going to be a lot of good information about a program that we're taking a look at and seeing whether or not it's advantageous for us to work with AgeWell, which is a senior transportation company, and providing services here in the village versus us providing the services. And so it's really about teaming up with them, having the oversight that we want to have, but they may have an operational advantage to us because they have more access to buses and different programs. So we're looking at that. We're going to take a look at it. We want to describe it, how it's going to work, how there won't be any changes to our program. It's just a different operator. How that will save us some money. How it'll hopefully bring a better service level to the village. All of that in a discussion format. No decisions have been made yet. We really want the input from our riders. We want the input from the community on whether or not this makes sense for us to change. And if so, then we'll move forward. If not, then we'll take a step back and then regroup.
So basically, at this meeting, AgeWell is going to do like a presentation of what they can do to help us?
Yeah, our staff will be doing it, and AgeWell will be there on the virtual meeting with us. And again, it's really a collaboration that we've been putting together for quite a while to talk to them about their process, what's their background, where do they come from. They provide a lot of senior services around the county. And so we thought this might be a good opportunity to at least evaluate if that could be advantageous to the community.
Great. Oh, that's a really great idea. I mean, you know, we've talked to them all the time, and they always seem on the ball, like you mentioned, and just another caveat of what they do. So
it'd be nice.
That's great.
And so if you're on the virtual, you'll be able to obviously submit comments and questions after the presentation is being done. If you're watching on TV, then we'd want you to send an email in.
Email in while they are watching it virtually.
If they're watching on TV.
And then they'll call on you, kind of a thing.
If they're virtually on the Zoom, they can do the chat.
Yeah, and then if you're only watching it through the television, then send your email in prior to Friday.
Right.
Perfect.
Or if you're watching and you come up with a question, we'll answer them after they come
Oh, okay, good. So any way you look at it, just send it to that email. Okay, perfect. Good. And then I know there's something kind of exciting coming up. Everybody who doesn't need mulch.
Yeah, the community is very active, and we have a really, really large mulching operation as part of our landscape. We've done.
There's our mulcher right there. Look at that.
You got the tub grinder, as we call it. That tub grinder does a humongous amount of mulch on a daily basis, and from our clippings and our tree trimming and all of the operations that we do. And as we produce this mulch, we want to make it available to our community back. And I know a lot of our residents enjoy this. And we have 3 dates coming up in January, April, and August where we'll be distributing it. But our next one's coming up January 21st through the 24th. And that mulch will be available at clubhouses 3, 4, and 5. Excuse me. And you'll be able to go down there and pick up your mulch. Most of the people that do it already have been engaged. We'll keep refilling those areas up as people come and take that mulch away. But it's a great resource, especially if you have your own gardens and your own planting areas.
Absolutely.
And so we want to help out the community that way, and it helps us get rid of the mulch too, because we can't pile it up forever.
Yeah, well, it's a win-win all the way around. So perfect. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the information. Nice to see you, and we'll see you again next week.
Sounds great.
Thank you. All right, so remember, if you want some mulch, which, as we mentioned, we can all use mulch, call Resident Services to find out exactly what you need to do, and they'll have more information for you. All right, we will be right back with the Laguna Woods Library. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Kathy Bryant, who is here on behalf of the History Center. Well, Kathy, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share the History Center with our community. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. We were over at the library when they first opened back up, and we did notice that the History Center is right next door to the library. So we're like, you know what? We should talk to them about what happens at the History Center, what you guys feature, and just how it all works. So thanks for joining us.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's a little known secret that we're trying to get out and make more apparent in the community. We did organize and start in 1976 as the Historical Society, and that was formed because Ross Cortese and the Rossmore Corporation were starting to wind down on construction in the community. They were working on the 110s, which was the last area that was developed. And they wanted to place information and documents and pictures somewhere. So the Historical Society was formed, and they took that in, and that's how it started. They were in several little places, like the library and a lot of other things were bounced to different rooms because there wasn't a lot available then. And eventually it was recognized because of how much we were getting, how much information was being given to us, that we needed to build our own building. 2015 is when we remodeled.
Okay.
But it's been here, and actually this building is part of two buildings that are attached. They built the portico over the front so that it looks like one building, but we are separate buildings. GRF donated the land. Donations from then Historical Society members put the money together to build the building, and then it was donated to to Golden Rain Foundation. So the building belongs to the community. Inside, we are a separate organization.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, it sounds great. I'm glad you were able to get your own center, because you do have a lot of things in there that really sort of, you know, depicts what the village was, what it is now, and, you know, the transition that was made over those many, many years. Tell me some of the things that you guys highlight.
Well, what we do is highlight in maintaining information is done separate, two different ways. One is through physical archives in the back building, which are kept at 70 degrees and between 30 and 50% humidity to save them from deteriorating.
Okay.
And then we have digital archives. And as you might guess, that is the coming thing. Mm-hmm. This was brought forward recently when the malware attacked the community. We are on a separate network, so there was a lot of information that was saved, and a lot of information we found out was lost, and because no one had thought to send those files to us to save. But that is our real goal, is to save items from not just Laguna Woods, but before, like what happened before us, and to network with Orange County, other Orange County groups. We are actually the only purpose-built archive in the county. And so we try to make everything available for not only our residents to do research, but also for historians that can contact us. So we reach out to other organizations as well. And we're always looking for volunteers. We need people. This community, I know from my years here, because I was on the United Board and on the Foundation Board and a few other things, volunteers run this community. We don't govern it, but we really run it. And it's important. Volunteers have always been very important, and we need some people that maybe have some computer skills that could come and put in information, help us. Maybe we can extend some hours, but right now we work with a very small volunteer crew.
Okay. Well, you know, I mean, that is true. There are a lot of volunteers here, and I've met so many great people, and, you know, it's nice to stay active. So, you know, when you're talking about having a volunteer come, I mean, a lot of people here have computer skills and they love to talk to people. And so I would imagine you should be able to get some great folks in there. Now, let me ask you something. Who actually visits the History Center?
That's a good question. We get people that just, I had a gentleman walk in yesterday and said, "What do you do here?" Well, it starts there. A lot of folks find out of us online because we have a great website. Also, they can reach us through the Laguna Woods website, the village website. And a lot of folks are just coming to the library and they see the lights on and they want to know. Some come specifically because they've read about us and they maybe had someone that lived in the village before. They wanted to find out if there was any information about them. And that's always charming because a lot of times we get to help. A real quick story, there was a gentleman that contacted us from England. He had just found out that his birth father was a GI. And this was a couple of years ago, and he contacted us because he understood his birth father lived in Laguna Woods and there might have been something done. And we did have archives. We had done an interview with his birth father. Unfortunately, he had died before he was able to meet him, but we were able to send him a copy to have. Those are the really nice things about reaching out. Once in a while, we'll have somebody bring in, which is great, from they're cleaning out a manor. They found paperwork for a Broadway producer, manuscripts and just great things. Well, we don't really have any place for that because it doesn't follow our ideas here, but we have enough contacts that we found a university in Texas that had a whole archive section on that particular producer.
Oh, interesting. That is great. What a great network you have. Maybe the History Center should be on the tour, you know, when new people move in.
The History Center is exactly on the tour, and that's why the diorama, and being a docent myself, I'm very proud to bring people here. It is a chance for them to look at the diorama and see the community as a whole. Right. And it gives them an idea, as before we get started too far on the bus and all the chatter starts, it gives them an opportunity to get a little background. And I also talk about the History Center and what we do for the community. And it's important that people know we do things for them as well. I don't know if you can see right behind me. That's
yes,
an anniversary book, and that was done all by volunteers. The photos, everything written. It was a real heartfelt. Over a year it took to produce that book. We still have a couple available at $50 each if anybody wants them.
Okay.
And we also store club here in our archive in the humidity and temperature controlled back room in the archives. And that's $50 a year. And that's great for clubs because a lot of times you'll find, as I did as a past president, I ended up with 4 or 5 binders of information. Well, this is a place where they can store that for that. So we do things for the community as well. They could check us out at our website, which is LagunaWoodsHistory.org, or send us any questions and communicate at the info@LagunaWoodsHistory.org. But not only did we do the 50th anniversary book, but we did the tree guides.
Oh, yeah.
That's all volunteer work, and we still have some of those available. We may have to go into a 3rd printing before long, but since budget is a big factor, the board will have to sit down. We have a board of trustees, and they'll sit down and they'll look at the quality of what we're doing as relates to the community and our mission. So that's a wonderful thing. We also have we've had some wonderful speakers come into the community. Richard Dodd is a well-known Orange County architect, and he came in and spoke to, there was a lot of interest in people would come in and say, who designed these buildings? And so he gave us a great background on mid-century modern, because that was his focus. Then we had a great showing of Nellie Gale Moulton's artwork. And her niece Jane Barnes, and that was very well received. We thought we'd have it here for 2 weeks. We had it for 5.
Oh, wow.
And we had over 200 people show up the first night, which was wonderful.
Wow, that's great.
And so there's a lot of interest, not only just in Nellie Gale, who happened to live in a United Mutual manor for a while where she did painting. So she was a resident for a while. And we have a great connection with the Moulton family and doing different things with them. And they also had a showing that night of videos and some artifacts from the ranch. And there's a lot of interest in the Moulton family and what happened here.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, the History Center is very active. You've got lots of things going on. And so everyone should take an opportunity to go visit you and see what you guys are all about.
Well, I hope so. We're open Monday through Friday, just from 11 to 1, because we are pretty lightly staffed at this point of volunteers. But one of the most important things people can do is go to our website. And the website is incredible because it has a lot of information. It's getting better all the time because that is the future where people want to research.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to make our website more open and available and researchable. And in doing that, we have to be very careful how much we spend in doing those types of things. So And that goes back to the fact that we are a nonprofit. We don't get any money from any assessments in the village.
Right.
So everything is done by donor, and they can donate through our website. There's a big donate button they can push and use a credit card. They come in person and donate. They can mail a check to us at P.O. Box 2220 in Laguna Woods 92654. Or maybe they would consider that us in their will as an endowment. That would really help us.
All
That
right.
would help us.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much. It was really great to talk with you.
It's good to talk to you, and I appreciate the effort you made to get a hold of me today.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you again.
You bet.
And we will be right back after this.
Welcome back. All right, just a couple of announcements. As we mentioned before, the transportation meeting has been rescheduled to this Friday, and it will be aired right here on Village Television on January 21st at 9:30 in the morning. But if you miss it, we will replay it later in the month. And then wanted to let you know that we did refer to resident services. So if you would like to know more about the mulch, call resident services. They are closed for walk-ins, so just email them or call them at the number you see on your screen. All right, let's take a look at our weather real quick, like 2 seconds. Beautiful after a couple of cloudy days here, and then as we head into the weekend, really nice. All right, have a great day in the village. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a super Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Are you or someone you know facing financial challenges from unexpected emergency expenses? The foundation of Laguna Woods Village can provide the temporary help you need. Meals on Wheels, adult day services, dental services, medical alert services, and ambulance contracts. Contact the Village Social Services at 949-597-4267 to see if you qualify. Neighbors helping neighbors. The mission of the foundation of Laguna Woods Village.
Now there's a different way to buy a new Lexus. It's called CarDash, only available at southcountylexus.com. It's amazingly simple. Visit southcountylexus.com, select and reserve your new or pre-owned vehicle that comes with a 5-day love it or leave it guarantee. Apply for credit, calculate your payment, and even appraise your trade-in, all online. Once you arrive at the dealership, just pick up your car and drive home. Push a button, get a Lexus. South County Lexus, where different is amazing.
Your smile is key to your overall health. Put it into good hands with Lohberg Dental. We are restorative dentistry experts specializing in fillings, crowns, dental implants, root canals, and more. Come experience our exceptional care for yourself with a special offer for new patients. Your first exam and set of x-rays is free without insurance. Let us give you something to smile about. Visit drlohberg.com today to make an appointment and get your free exam and x-rays.